Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And this recent update for Dragonflight has a lot of players upset. In this update, we're going to be talking about the design shift for this expansion, the release date, the raid testing, and how all of the scheduling has a lot of players feeling very flustered. Now, my initial response to the development of Dragonflight has been fairly positive. I feel like going into the classes, redesigning them, giving them new talent trees, recustomizations and options, and kind of going back to the basics and fundamentals of World of Warcraft has been a great direction. Their responsiveness to feedback, constant posts, and constant updates, it's all been fantastic. But the one thing that doesn't seem to be too fantastic is that we are really pushing it. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm a genius or I have the knowledge or the education to determine when in a release cycle that Dragonflight should really come out. I can only speak to it as a player at the moment, and with Wrath of the Lich King coming out so soon, all of the hype and energy and excitement with that, with regards to the World of Warcraft community, it seems like Dragonflight is just getting rushed at the moment, to the point where we're not even really able to enjoy Wrath of the Lich King because we're immediately jumping back onto Dragonflight, and it feels like we need a little bit more time because, as the post reads here, we feel it would be useful to let everyone know where we are in the development of Dragonflight classes and talent design. With the next beta and PTR build, we're transitioning away from spending the majority of our time on the design iteration of the new talent trees, and we're now primarily focused on fixing bugs and tuning the game. Now, I'll be fair, there are a lot of bugs that need to be fixed. There's a lot of talents that I've reported myself, not being able to drag talents onto your action bar, not working as they read or intend. And of course, the tuning is a big deal to me, especially if they're going to be doing PvP specific modifications or any set modifications to any content in the game. This is like a big thing that needs to get hit as well. But it seems like we're rushing a little bit through the talent trees, especially with kind of like the upheaval that we've recently had with a lot of classes. Which I'm, of course, really excited to check out, like this most recent balance trade one, but it's like you're only going to hit it with one iteration. Some classes are still a little bit kind of shaky, it seems. So I'm a bit worried about the fact that this seems rushed. This includes balancing talent choices against each other and tuning the throughput of each class. We want to ensure that we release an expansion of the highest quality for this incredible community, and I don't doubt that. I feel like they've been doing a really good job so far. That being said, the new talent systems constitute a tremendous change to the game and represent a fundamental overhaul to how classes and specializations are customized by players. It is our expectation that we will be making adjustments based on your feedback throughout the expansion's timeline. We greatly appreciate all of your testing and feedback thus far, and we're looking forward to delivering improvements to all of the talent trees and content updates throughout Dragonflight. And I don't think it really comes as any surprise with a new expansion. Usually the first season is a little bit shaky for a bit, and they've been, I would say, reasonably good at nipping things in the bud, at least when it comes to balance and tuning right off the start of an expansion, unlike even in older expansions. Like I can think back to the original Wrath of the Lich King launch, where Death Knights were just resurrecting partners into ghouls and just destroying people for a very extended period of time. Or things like Mists of Pandaria, where you had Stampede just one-shotting people, Siphing from Shadow Priest. So I do have faith and trust that this is a true statement and will be iterated on. It's just, I really feel like it's pushing it, and again, I'm not a genius or a mathematician or an accountant or accounting major to be able to say that it's not a good idea to release Dragonflight within the schedule that they've got. It's just that I know from the majority of the community that I've seen online on Twitter, and let's get your comments down below as well. I don't want to be speaking for anybody that I haven't seen made a post. Do you feel like Dragonflight's being rushed? Would you have rather seen it delayed a little bit later, allowing you time to enjoy Wrath of the Lich King, play through a lot of memories and nostalgia with that, and then ensure that all of this is done prior to the release of the expansion, rather than trying to kind of like nip it after the fact? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. I don't want to speak for anybody, but I do know for myself and from some of the other top players that I see tweeting regularly is that it feels rushed at this point, unnecessarily. Now leads into the next point of discussion that I think has upset a lot of players. Now, myself personally, I'm not a raider. I'm not sure if I'm going to be checking out the raids this time around. I'm going to have to kind of wait and see how all the bosses play out. Usually I'll jump into a raid if it's like a boss that has a lot of lore really held close to me that I want to check out, or a story that's really got me kind of captivated. I'll go and check out a raid. But generally speaking, it's to my understanding with PvP that we're going back to a Warlords of Draenor style of gearing with a little bit of scaling, so it's better than the PvE gear, so that if you want to be sticking into PvP to gear up, you're going to get the majority of your gear down that route, and I'm going to be taking full advantage of that. But they have released their raid schedule, and you can almost immediately see some problems. So the raid testing schedule is very fluid and subject to the realities of a test environment. Hopefully it's also subject to the environment of raiders wanting to enjoy Wrath of the Lich King. There's the possibility of having to change the time of testing session, change the bosses being tested, or cancel a test entirely due to bugs, server hardware issues, etc. We'll be updating the schedule with boss details as we get closer to their testing dates. Keep an eye on the Dragonflight beta forum for the boss feedback threads and the latest information. Thank you in advance for testing and providing feedback. And of course, a lot of competitive raiders that need to be checking these bosses out as soon as possible, getting strategies, min-maxing, and all that stuff, let alone people who just want to be getting into the beta and providing feedback and trying to deliver on the best expansion that is possible, that would otherwise be jumping on Wrath of the Lich King, because this is right on the right on the same week, quite literally, which then leads into another scheduling issue of when is Dragonflight coming out? When are the raids going to line up? How about with how are they going to line up with holiday season? It seems like everything is just like trying to fit it right into this thing that's not like everything else is going so great except the timing on it, from my perspective and the way that I see it. And you can see that testing going through from September 30th to October 6th. Like it's spread out over multiple days. It's not just all on one day and one evening, so you can get all the bosses done and then get back to whatever grind it is that you're doing in Wrath of the Lich King. It's all very spread out and sporadic, and you're constantly going to have to keep going back and in. So I'm not sure if it's going to be able to deliver, at least on the overall experience, as a player, right? Just speaking personally from myself as a player, I'm not sure. Like if I was a raider, I would be really upset about this, because I would be like, I need to get in here, I need to see these bosses, but I'm also torn because I want to be on Wrath of the Lich King with my friends, because that seems to be where the hype is at the moment. It seems like this would have been the perfect time to take advantage of classic WoW bolstering up subscribers for the time being, to then bunker down and deliver on the best experience possible towards Dragonflight, which I'm sure that they are doing their best to do, but with this current release schedule, seems like a really tight squeeze to be able to get it. And I do trust them after the fact, having seen them also post in this that they are going to be tuning it afterwards. It just seems like, why not just let us all enjoy Wrath of the Lich King? You guys get a little bit more time, more iteration, more bug fixes, more tuning, and then when the hype for Wrath of the Lich King starts to go down, whoa, the best expansion ever is coming out now with Dragonflight. It just seemed like the perfect moment to do that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Those are my thoughts. This is the news update. If you want to stay up to date with everything related to World of Warcraft, class changes, which now maybe we're not going to see a lot of, but tuning adjustments, what's looking strong, what's looking good, some fun videos, some hype videos, then make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because that's the type of content that I deliver on, and I'm working diligently to get to my long-term goal of 100,000 subscribers, and would greatly appreciate your support in that journey. Other than that, thank you for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.